Well, he saw a blowout turn into a close game. The New York Yankees were able to salvage the final game of that 3-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks, avoiding the sweep. And there is a lot to talk about here on today's show. I'm your host, Ryan Garcia. This is Fireside Yankees. And coming up next, we've got a preview of the Pirates series, a discussion about the young bats who are off to a hot start, the conversation about the Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm star duo, some news, and of course, a recap of last night's game. All that and more coming up next, right here on Fireside Yankees. So let's get things started by recapping this amazing win for the Yankees. And I say amazing because I think the difference in how you feel about this team if they lose yesterday's game versus win yesterday's game is pretty dramatically different. And I talked about the importance of winning this game despite the fact that it's just a regular season game in April, because it helps you feel like, all right, we had a 4-2 homestand. Was it perfect? Had some moments where, you sit back and you go, damn, missed opportunity. And that's mainly with the first game of this 3-game set against Arizona. But you walk away 4-2. You'll take it. You'll take 4 wins in every 6 games. The Yankees find themselves off to a pretty solid start through their first 6 games. The offense remained on fire in this game. They immediately make their presence felt as Ben Rice leads off the game with a ground rule double, a weird batted ball where he drives it to the warning track, but Alek Thomas was playing shallow, gets a bad read on it, and the ball is able to hit the warning track and bounce over the fence. Cody Bellinger would work a walk, and then Aaron Judge would hit his 5th home run of the season, 5 home runs in just 6 games, bringing in his 1st, 2nd, and 3rd RBIs of the day. Don't worry, he wasn't done here. Trent Grisham added a 4th run in that inning with a double. He had a big day, and we'll talk about him in a bit. And then the Diamondbacks immediately kind of chip back with a run. Alek Thomas has an RBI ground out, but the Yankees punch right back as Trent Grisham hits a 2-run blast to right field. The runner on first was Anthony Volpe, who picked up his first hit. That wasn't a home run on the season. The Diamondbacks continued to chip away as Alek Thomas grounded into an RBI out after Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had an RBI double. I mean, this game had multiple moments where the Yankees could have really fallen apart, and Carrasco could have really fallen apart. Carrasco had 1 run into the inning, 2 on, 2nd and 3rd, and no one out. And he was able to work out of it by just allowing 1 more run. That was huge. That changed the course of this game. And the Yankees were able to keep piling on. Aaron Judge with 2 outs and first base open. The Diamondbacks choose to pitch to him. He picks up an RBI single. It's his 4th RBI of the day. Definitely controversial to pitch to Aaron Judge at any point in time. Jazz Chisholm adds another home run, his 4th of the season. He scored Aaron Judge on that one. It was a 2-run blast. It made it 9-7 or 9-3. And that home run, quietly, was an extremely important one because the Yankee offense was done scoring from there, and the Diamondbacks kept themselves alive. A lot of zeros exchanged between these two sides. Carlos Carrasco tossed 5 1/3 innings of 3-run baseball. A really solid performance of someone who, let's be honest, folks, just was not supposed to be on this team when they first landed in Tampa. He is someone who you have to set the bar a little lower for, and you take the serviceable starts when you can get them because the floor or the upside or the median outcome is not very pretty. So tipping my cap to Carrasco on what was a serviceable outing, an outing where he gave them enough length. He didn't completely leave his bullpen out to dry. The first guy out of the bullpen was Adam Ottavino. He was able to finish off that 6th inning unscathed. But here's where the trouble came in. So Aaron Judge picks up a double in the bottom of the 6th. The Yankees aren't able to score him. And you look at the top of the 7th, it's the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. You think to yourself, all right, Ryan Yarbrough's got the ball. The whole purpose of Ryan Yarbrough is for him to be able to eat innings, for him to be able to go, hey, let's close this game out on our own, maybe. And that's not what happens. He walks Garrett Hampson. He walks Jose Herrera. That's a really, really bad omen when you're walking the 8 and 9 hitters up 6 runs. Corbin Carroll picks up a single on a hanging breaking ball. And then Geraldo Perdomo, who has never hit a home run from his right-handed side, picks up a grand slam. It's a porch job to right field, and not mad about a porch job, just mad that we found ourselves in that situation. And that's where, with your Ryan Yarbrough, you've got to be better. You've got to be better. And given that the Yankees have a wave of relievers that should be back within the next 2 months, that's Ian Hamilton, that's Tyler Matzik, that's Jonathan Loaizaga, that's Jake Cousins at the end of May if his 60-day IL timeline is followed to a T. The bullpen spots are thin, and Yoendris Gomez did the job that we thought Ryan Yarbrough was capable of a lot better than Ryan Yarbrough did, and that was handing the ball off to him and being able to get those 3 clean innings, save the bullpen. So Yarbrough, the real stinker, only gets 2 outs, allows 4 runs, brings the Diamondbacks right back into this game. Aaron Boone calls on Mark Leiter Jr. to, number 1, end this mess and keep the Yankees ahead, and number 2, for Mark Leiter Jr. personally, I imagine this was an opportunity for him to kind of put past a really soul-crushing outing earlier in the series. You have JC Escarra picking up his first major league hit in the bottom of the 7th. I want to give him a round of applause. JC Escarra, story of spring training, showed up, was unable to find work in pro ball until 2024. He was out of pro ball from 2023 to 2020, or 2022 to 2023, and had never reached the major leagues. Picks up his first hit, his first double in his first MLB start. The Yankees had bases loaded, 2 out. Ben Rice came up and he couldn't get the job done against Jalen Beeks. Mark Leiter Jr. comes in and he strikes out Alek Thomas. He gets Eugenio Suarez to line out, but Ketel Marte bloops a single. And Aaron Boone says, I'm not messing around anymore. He brings in Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver gets the out on Gabriel Moreno. The Yankees unable to add a run in the bottom of the 8th. But then Luke Weaver steps in and he just delivers a clean 1-2-3 inning, and the Yankees pick up the win. So, top performers, Aaron Judge had 4 RBIs in the day, and he had 3 hits. He was a triple short of the cycle, had a home run. Jazz Chisholm had a 2-run blast. That was his only hit of the day. He had a walk as well. Trent Grisham picked up 3 hits, a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. I guess he, too, was a triple short of a cycle. So those are your top offensive performers. Ben Rice, I'll also lump in here as well. He had a double, 2 walks at a leadoff spot. I wonder if manager Aaron Boone throws him up there a few more times. And then out of the bullpen, got to give credit to Mark Leiter Jr. and Luke Weaver. They come in, they don't mess around, they don't allow a walk. The only base runner was the bloop single from Mark Leiter Jr. But again, great job from Leiter and Weaver to just nail it down. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Leiter Jr. is a good reliever. He'll have a good year. It'll turn around for him. He had 1 really, really bad pitch. I think that, we'll see it continue to turn around. The strikeout rates are up. Walk rates are down. He is someone who I still hold a lot of faith in to be a successful reliever on this 2025 Yankee roster. But with that being said, that gives the Yankees their 4th win of the year. It helps them avoid the sweep. They had 12 hits, 9 runs. They worked 5 walks. Their pitching staff walked 5 hitters. That's a problem. You don't want that. They allowed 8 hits. They allowed a home run, struck out 9. So, as it pertains to kind of early concerns from that series, it's the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen just walks way too many people. As a bullpen, the New York Yankees have walked 12.2% of batters faced, and allowed a 5.09 ERA because their home run per 9 rate is 1.17. So, you can't walk as many batters as they do and not without allowing, way fewer home runs than most. They're still missing bats. They're still striking people out. That's something they didn't do last year. And I still believe the key guys in this pitching staff or on this bullpen are good, and that when the Yankees are able to get their guys back, that this bullpen will get even better. But they're going to need the internal options to step up and be in the strike zone a little more. That's something they're going to have to do. I don't think that there's much of a incentive to having your bullpen come in and give the team opportunities or give the opponent opportunities to get back in the game. But again, the positive sign here is that they're getting a lot of strikeouts. Their strikeout to walk ratio is really strong. Batters are hitting under 200 against them. And in terms of batted ball quality allowed, that's where you get a little ugly. 14.3% barrel rate. That is the highest for any bullpen allowed, for any bullpen in Major League Baseball. And the win probability added has been a negative 0.12. So hurting the Yankees more than they're helping them. up to this point. In terms of their ability to keep the ball on the ground, is that something that's maintained itself from last year? It is not. The Yankees are 19th in ground ball percentage at 44.6%. That's a number the Yankees would like to improve on. So the missing bats, I would even say their strikeout to walk ratio is fine. They're just not keeping the ball on the ground enough or avoiding damage contact enough as a group. That is something, again, that will either be corrected by guys internally stepping up, or the Yankees importing players from the IL or the injured list and booting some of the lesser successful players on that pitching staff. But let's get into some news here. We have some injury updates, or I guess this one isn't an injury update, but Devin Williams has been activated off the paternity list. He was not injured. His family was, they're paternally, a kid was being born. I don't know why it was so hard to explain that. Devin Williams, congrats on having new life come into your life. Sending well wishes to him, his family, to the mother of the child, to Williams. I believe they're married, so I just haven't checked. So really happy to have Williams back. Really, really happy to know those news for Williams. As a result, the New York Yankees designated for assignment Adam Ottavino. DJ LeMahieu's about a week away from live at-bats. He will need a quote-unquote full spring training to get up and going. I do wonder how serious the Yankees are about playing him. And then Giancarlo Stanton has been, taking swings off the Tragic machine. He's someone who doesn't have an exact timeline, but he is progressing, and that's a positive sign because the Yankees could use some more right-handed hitting. So I would love to be able to incorporate Stanton back into this offense. Although the question now becomes with Ben Rice, and this kind of leads us to what we're talking about with the young bats. Ben Rice has been awesome for the Yankees. He's hitting 375, 500 OBP, slugging a ton. He's had 2 home runs in the season. He's got 2 doubles, 6 runs scored, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. 875 slug, 477 OBP, 375 average. He's hit really well to start the year. Jasson Dominguez has had a pretty strong start to his season. Again, I'm going to say strong start. It's a little hard for me to say hot start whenever you're talking about, again, a 6-game sample size. But Jasson Dominguez, 1 home run. He had the double yesterday. He has 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 136 WRC plus, 348 OBP, 450 slug, 250 average. If you copy and paste those numbers over the course of a full season, you've got a really darn good hitter. And he, I think, has gotten way too much flack for what has been a solid start to his year. Volpe, I know that the batting average isn't great, but he's having a good start to his season. He's hitting 208, which is going to turn off some of my viewers, but he's got a 708 slugging percentage. His OPS is almost nearing 1,000. I have been very happy with the power numbers we've seen early on from Volpe. Wells off to a good start as well. He had his 2 home runs. Those first 2 came in the first 2 games of the season. He has a 186 WRC plus, 350 on base, 647 slug. He's got a double in there as well. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 4 hits in 5 games. And then you've got I'm trying to even think of other guys who are young. And I mean, you could loop Jazz Chisholm in the young guys category because he's 27. I choose not to because I'm going based off more of experience than I am age. But, the 3 guys who are year 1, year 2, or year 3 players, they've hit really well. And if the Yankees want to go anywhere, they're going to need their young guys to step up and do a job and be productive big leaguers so that supplements the loss of some of the big free agents you've lost and the big injuries you've had, such as losing Soto in free agency and losing Garrett Cole to Tommy John surgery, having Luis Gil out for a prolonged period of time. You can loop Will Warren in here as well. Him having a strong first start to his major league season, that certainly helps. So there's a lot of positives from the young players. And I think that's so encouraging because, again, you're going to need these young guys to step up and do a job if you want to win baseball games. But moving on here to the Judge-Jazz tandem, and I want to talk about the Judge-Jazz tandem because these 2 guys have wreaked havoc on Major League Baseball early on. If you look at offensive leaderboards in terms of home runs, Aaron Judge is tied with Eugenio Suarez, who we just saw, with 5 home runs. That gives him the most in the American League. Josh Chisholm and Anthony Volpe are tied with each other for the second most home runs in the American League at 4. Jazz Chisholm has been superb, and really since becoming a Yankee, he's been superb. He's hit 15 home runs in 52 games since joining the team. At that pace, if you average that over 150 games, that would be 43 home runs, and that's incredible. I mean, the guy's been a superstar level player since joining the Yankees. He has been everything the Bronx Bombers could possibly ask for, and quite honestly, they're in a spot with Jazz Chisholm where he's become a real spark plug. He's really done everything the Yankees could possibly have asked him to do on offense. He is a strong defensive second baseman. He is a great base runner. Again, 15 home runs, 19 steals, a 145 WRC plus through your first 52 games with the team. It's a 2.8 WAR. He's continued to just impress, and I'm really excited to see what a full season of Jazz Chisholm looks like. His bat is perfect for the Bronx. He hammers the baseball to right field. And, if you don't like the bat flips, if you don't like all that stuff, too bad, because Jazz Chisholm's going to do it anyways, and I love it. I love it so much. The comments yesterday saying, from Jazz himself, saying that he looks up to Judge. He kind of, he watches the way that Judge carries himself, and he tries to emulate that ability to carry yourself even through tough times. It's something that Jazz Chisholm, and I think that a lot of Yankees, have done a really good job of over the last year, and it's respecting Yankee traditions in a good way, and in a manner in which, for lack of better terms, not in the way of like beards, because I don't think the beards matter, not in a way of old timer stuff, and I say that with all due respect, but more so in the manner of like having this appreciation for those who have come before them. You hear the way guys like Spencer Jones talk about, Bernie Williams, whoever it may be. You hear Jazz Chisholm, the way he talks about Aaron Judge. Giancarlo Stanton in the dugout going, we don't get swept at home. I feel like despite the looseness in the clubhouse that Jazz Chisholm has expressed and has been excited about since joining the Yankees, there is a tight-knit group, and there's a group here that is about winning ball games. That there's the time to be, bat flipping and throwing your bat around, and then there's the time to lock in and get serious, and I think this Yankee team has done a very good job early on in the year of, displaying the ability to do that, displaying the maturity on the field to do those kinds of things. And if you look at where they rank across the league, yeah, they're the best offense in baseball start the year. They're off to a historic start home runs wise. They got 22 in 6 games, and that's certainly going to make you feel good about any team. But you look at the fundamentals, like cleaning up little things. The Yankees had some really bad base running plays in that first series against Milwaukee, got caught a few too many times in the base paths. They cleaned that up in this series. The defensive woes, the defensive miscues. I mean, there was a bad defensive game in that second game, and I told people not to worry about the defense. The defense was really strong in this series. You didn't have to worry about the defense in this series. They didn't make the laundry list of mistakes that I think a lot of people get worried about the Yankees making. So, when you tie everything back to, all right, how good can this Yankee team be? It all comes back to how good are they going to be defensively, how good are they going to be on the base paths, but it's also going to be how deep they are and how well-rounded they can be. This team has a new hero every single day. This team has a guy step up for them every single day. The only constant is that Aaron Judge is hitting a home run. That's basically the only constant. Everyone else, one day they might go 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, and you might go, oh, damn, it's a tough day for them at the ballpark. But then other games, these guys are putting up, 2-3 home runs, or a guy comes in, he has 4 RBIs in the day, and they're your hero, right? I mean, Anthony Volpe, 1 for 4 today, did not have a great day yesterday, but that's where that Judge-Jazz tandem has come into place. They've hit so many home runs, they've kept this team afloat, and the other guys have been able to step in and contribute when needed, and you've got a nice thing going with your 1 through 9. Only thing is that third base position has continued to be a problem for the New York Yankees. But with that being said, we've got to look ahead. We've got a whole new series to talk about as the Yankees will start a 3-game set tonight with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Whether the Yankees get all of these games in or not is who knows, right? I mean, we really don't know if the Yankees are going to get all these games in, just given the weather in Pittsburgh. But tonight will be Mitch Keller versus Max Fried. This is, again, being hosted at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. The Yankees will then play on 405 on Saturday, or that's what's scheduled. Marcus Stroman will face off against Bailey Falter. And then the series finale at 1:35 on Sunday will be Will Warren versus old friend Andrew Heaney. So, look at the Pirates here. The Pirates are 2-5 to start the season, and they have struggled with the same things they've struggled with last year. Their offense is a problem. Their offense offense has struggled severely. As a team, they're hitting 197 with a 291 OBP and a 278 slugging percentage. They've hit just 4 home runs in 7 games played. The pitching staff has not been as much of an issue for the Pirates. They do have pitching talent, even though Jared Jones is currently on the IL. And, look, you're going to say, hey, we're not facing Paul Skeens, thank God, and I surely agree with that, don't get me wrong, but the Pirates have done such a good job staff-wide of limiting damage contact. This is a pitching staff that, despite having not great strikeout numbers, has the second best home runs per 9 allowed through their first 7 games. Granted, you have to wonder if that's the quality of offensives they've faced in Miami and Tampa Bay, who aren't known for having big sluggers right now. But you also have to tip the cap and say, hey, they're keeping the ball on the ground a lot, 48.9% ground ball rate. That's definitely part of the equation here as well. And with Keller and Heaney and Falter, all 3 of those guys have turned in good first starts to the rotation. So interesting to see how the Yankees counter that there. Other interesting factor here is that Falter and Heaney are lefties, so I wonder how the Yankees will counter those lefties. You have Wells, who's going to have to catch games in this series, and you wonder if he catches all 3, just because of the workload. You wonder if Goldschmidt gets some leadoff games here. You wonder if they're daring enough to play someone like an Austin Wells against lefty. They don't really have a choice with their lack of right-handed catching. Does Rice get a start here against a lefty if they like the matchup, or if there's a reverse splits guy? And to kind of give you guys what I think is the situation here, or kind of how I think the Yankees are going to play this, Mitch Keller is your stereotypical right-handed pitcher. Now, the Yankees have faced a lot of righties in recent games who have reverse splits, which has caused Aaron Boone to flip his lineup a little bit and go with that left-handed that lineup for lefties. But this time against a righty, like when we faced Aaron Savali, we faced Zach Gallen. But lefties hold a distinct advantage here. Lefties have a 281, 352, 459 career slash line against Mitch Keller. Last season, a 268, 320, 492 slash line. They've got, last year, lefties really torched Keller. They had a 1.57 home runs per 9. The year before, 1.47 home runs per 9 with a 253, 321, 455 slash line. So lefties have always gotten to Mitch Keller. They've never had a weighted on base average or WOBA below 332 over the course of a full season against Keller. I expect the Yankees to be very left-handed heavy here. That is a matchup that I think the Yankees need to try and win, especially with Max Fried on the mound, Max Fried, he has to deliver a strong performance as well. So this is an opportunity for the Yankees to get to 5-2. They got to capitalize. Now, Bailey Falter is someone who has been a reverse splits guy a little bit. In his career, he has a 474 slugging percentage allowed and a 321 on base percentage allowed against left-handed batters. Right-handed batters, 314 on base, 452 slugs, so slightly worse numbers there. Lefties have really, really done their damage against Falter compared to righties, so I do wonder if Aaron Boone is more willing to go to a left-handed hitter like a Ben Rice and maybe go with his left-handed lineup here. Falter is someone who relies on a four-seam and curveball mix. That's a lot more effective against righties than it is lefties. And I also wonder with that sinker slider not grading out particularly well in Stuff Plus arsenals, but getting a little bit of a bump in usage. I wonder if maybe that's something that Falter's trying to mix in there to counter the left-handed hitters who have given him such trouble in years past. But still, I think that Aaron Boone will look at the back of the baseball card and go, all right, this is an opportunity to keep Wells in the lineup, keep Rice in the lineup, and then give some of these guys days off for the third game when they face Andrew Heaney, who is your stereotypical left-handed pitcher. He is going to struggle against right-handed batters, and he's going to do well against left-handed batters. Right-handed batters have a 248, 309, 456 slash line against Heaney, whereas left-handed batters have a 256 average, 320 on base, 381 slugging percentage. So, again, breaking down these matchups, I expect their primary lineup, which is, lead off a lefty, whether that's Wells or Rice, and then, heavily feature lefties in that lineup. We should see Rice and Wells in the lineup against Keller for sure. I think we'll see them against Falter, and then I think we'll see the more aggressive right-handed lineup against Andrew Heaney. Heaney is someone who has struggled against Aaron Judge in his career a ton, and I expect Aaron Judge to do a job. Aaron Judge in his career has a home run and 3 hits off of Heaney. Actually, I might have misspoken here. He has 8 strikeouts, so maybe not as fortuitous of a career. The other guys who have some familiarity, Cody Bellinger, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts in 11 plate appearances and 11 at-bats. There actually isn't a ton of success here against Heaney, so that'll be interesting to see. Although, again, I do think Judge will go yard here just because it's Andrew Heaney, and Andrew Heaney allows home runs, and Aaron Judge hits home runs. So kind of a, kind of a what you would expect situation. Now, Bailey Falter has seen quite a few Yankees a couple of times. Grisham is a perfect 3 for 3 against him. Jazz Chisholm is 2 for 4 against him. Goldschmidt's 3 for 7 with a walk and a sac fly. And Cody Bellinger is 3 for 10 with a double and 2 strikeouts. So you've got a couple of guys who have gotten their licks in against Bailey Falter. And then against tonight's starter, Mitch Keller, the New York Yankees have not had, a small sample size against him because they have so many guys who have played him in the NL Central. Paul Goldschmidt, he's 8 for 32 in his career with 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 doubles, and a home run. Cody Bellinger has a 385 career average against Keller. That's 4 doubles and 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 13 trips to the plate, no walks. Trent Grisham is hitting 455 against Keller. He is 5 for 11 with a double and 3 strikeouts. And then Aaron Judge, the captain, has 3 at-bats against Keller. In those, he has 2 hits, one of them a double, and a strikeout in that mix. So definitely will be interesting to see how the Yankees perform against them. I'm really, really curious to see how the Yankees line up offensively. Again, I kind of laid out what I think Aaron Boone will do, but what I think Aaron Boone will do is different than what Aaron Boone actually does, and how they kind of, you look at the data and look at how their lefties profile or the righties profile against certain hitters. With that being said, look, with this series, the keys are a better bullpen. You need the bullpen to lock down leads. If the Yankees can get out to a hot start, you need to know that you can, coast through certain games. Max Fried's got to set the tone early, have a strong start, because Mitch Keller is no slouch. He is a pretty good pitcher. And then, take care of business. Got to take 2 out of 3 at least 2 out of 3. You could, ideally you get a sweep here, but 2 out of 3 is what I'm aiming for, what I'm gunning for. But a sweep would be nice. This is a team you're better than. You've got to play like it. So, there's that. And PNC Park's beautiful. If you guys are heading there, please let us know. That'd be really cool. Let us know in the comment section below. And let us know what you guys think and how you feel about the team. Really appreciate you guys sticking through for today's episode and today's podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to check out Fireside Yankees and stay up to date on our most recent uploads. If you're listening to this on audio, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and download. We'd really appreciate that as well. And again, if you are new to the Fireside Yankees channel, this is your one-stop shop for Yankees content. We've got an Instagram, a Twitter, a TikTok, a Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. Links to everything are in the description. And for our written work, we're on EmpireSportsMedia.com. We're keeping you guys up to date on every transaction the Yankees have and everything going on in the New York sports landscape. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. This is Fireside Yankees. Peace out.
Perfect.